Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Francisco Simões. I'm the chair in Cost Action Role NEET Youth Network. Please feel welcome to our session on our mentoring program. I would like to start by just offering some key ideas about how the session is going to be held and some rules so that we can communicate effectively. I would like to ask all of you to mute your microphone during the presentation. We are starting with a short and very focused presentation on our action and then on the mentoring program. If by any chance you need to take care of your own business, please shut down the camera. And we are going to have a Q&A session later on. So you can write down on the chat all the questions. I would much prefer to listen to your voice. But as you can understand, we have a large group of people registered, and it might be a bit difficult to communicate effectively if everyone comes in to make their own questions. So we will be following very closely the chat room. And any questions that you might have about the mentoring program that we are launching today, please do send us through the chat. Before we move on to the presentation of the program, some of you are not members of the action. So in a very short introduction, a very short overview, I will present you the Rural NEET Youth Network. So who are we? We are a cost action gathering currently 33 countries and about 100 participants, both from cost member countries, and we also have involved some near neighbor countries like Algeria and Russia. And our action has some target goals that we would like to share with you. So first of all, we are very interested in establishing an inclusive multi-stakeholder network from different countries that focuses on the situation of rural needs, which is mostly an invisible subgroup of people, of young people not in employment nor in education or training. This action is also gathering to foster knowledge, skills, and best practice exchange with the idea to develop future scientific research projects. And all these main goals are going to build up into a rural needs online observatory, which is the main outcome of our action. And this observatory is going to be created by the end of the action in 2023. We started our activity in the end of 2019. Of course, as any other research project or research network, and especially a multi-stakeholder network that wants to gather NGOs, public service deliverers, etc. We are dealing and struggling with the pandemic, but we are active. And this meeting today is only an example of how we are trying to avoid the negative effects of the pandemic. We managed to start delivering some outcomes, some outputs in our first 12 months of work. So now we have 14 national reports, which are a kind of a baseline of the situation of rural needs across different member countries. We also developed one manual for the classification of intervention best practice with rural needs, which is a very comprehensive approach to the methodological principles to characterize on-the-ground interventions. And we also held an online conference on January on the issue of formal education and training and the transition from school to work in rural areas. So you can find all of these outputs and the upcoming calls, because many of these calls are open to members outside the action. in our website, and we can show you later some images and the links to our website, and we will do that. And of course, if you are interested in being involved, this is an open action, and you can, of course, come in. You can go to the website and ask to participate in one of the working groups. So, as some of you are not familiar with our action, these are some. This is just some contextualization for our action. The main goal today is to kick off our mentoring program, which is one of the pivotal activities, one of the key activities of our action. And as our poster mentioned, this is an opportunity to gather people that are interested in developing future research addressing rural youth or rural development. This is also an outstanding opportunity to increase the international visibility of your own research, whether you are a senior researcher trying to connect with younger researchers, or if you want to connect in collectives of research teams thinking about long-term research agendas. So we will go through all of these main principles for our mentoring program. But the main idea behind this is that our main topic in our action is underdeveloped. We need to secure high quality research projects in the future, gathering people from within and outside our action. And we can say that the mentoring program will be the key activity that will connect everyone in and all of these pieces in one place. In a nutshell, what is our mentoring program? So our intention is to provide the opportunity for what COST considers early career investigators, which are researchers up to 8 years after their PhD completion, as well as PhD students, to develop research proposals on topics related to rural needs, and I would say to young rural people and rural development in general. Given the priority that COST offers to what are considered the low intensity target countries in terms of research, which are listed here, we are giving some priority to mentors and mentees coming from these countries. But of course, it's a priority, it's not a limitation. People that are based or affiliated with institutions in other countries beside these are more than welcome. And the mentoring scheme is in general focused on contributing to develop, retain, and support professional researchers and to gather them around the topics that I mentioned earlier. Why are we developing this mentoring program? We have three main reasons to do that. First of all, we want to secure the critical mass and expertise around the topics that can be developed in this program. And our intention here is to act as a contact point between senior researchers, which will be the mentors, and ECI and PhD students who are junior or young researchers or those starting to make some research. And securing this critical mass is an opportunity to uphold a research agenda with different approaches to significant topics related to vulnerable young people and rural development. This will also uphold our future observatory in terms of bringing in new research projects. It is also very important for us to support an applied vision of research in our mentoring program. That's why one of the key issues in our mentoring program is stakeholders' involvement. As we will see later on, our mentoring program will not only connect senior and younger researchers through the process of the implementation of the program. We will provide specific time for involving decision makers at local, regional, national level, but also the NGOs and those all that are on the ground working in the implementation of projects and programs aimed at rural needs and other vulnerable rural youths. We also want to maintain and secure long-term impact. And this means that we are looking beyond our action a timeline. Our action is going to finish in 2023, as I mentioned before, but the observatory will be a platform for continuous collaboration and bringing more people to be involved in our research topics. So that's why the mentoring program is a kind of activity to stream this principle of long-term impact. These are the key issues, or the main contextualization of the action. And I'll pass it on now to Bahanur and Paul. Bahanur is the coordinator of the mentoring program team in our action. She's joining us from Austria. So Bahanur, thank you for being here. And I think that you can move on to present some practical aspects of the mentoring program.
Thank you very much, Francisco, for the introduction. This is a very important action, I believe, for rural people. There is not much going on, also funding-wise. The rural area is left out a little bit, and I really hope this cross-action will have an effect, as Francisco was saying, on decision makers. Because I'm an architect, I work a lot in urban areas, but I did also research on rural areas, and I feel like there is a lot to discover for researchers, and this mentoring program is supposed to give you the chance to open up the topics and connect with the stakeholders and make research which is relevant and which can hopefully create opportunities for rural people, and that we can have a better collaboration between urban areas and rural areas. So in this program, we are limited for 12 months, and we have some also limitations from the cost action. But as Francisco said, it's an open action, and we will create webinars, we will create a lot of dialogue moments, and we will exchange a lot. So in terms of mentors, the mentor is supposed to work in teams and should have experience in national or international projects. Preferably, they should have led the application process, led the development of the project design, research design. So this is very important because we are measured in the cost action by the quality of the research proposals in the end of the action. We know that there are different interests from people who have a lot of experience, but also who have not so much experience. That's the reason. And also we want to have an interdisciplinary team to guide the mentees. So therefore we want you to work in teams. It might be that you don't have a team yet. That might be, but we will give you the opportunity to team up with others. So for us, very important that you have in the team experienced people, so we can have a good guidance and good quality research proposals in the end of the project. But very important as well, please be open to collaboration and exchange. We will give you the framework with Paul together, but it's very important that you're open for dialogue and input from each other. And the mentees, my colleague Paul will be explaining what we expect from the mentees.
Thank you, Bahanur. So just to introduce myself to those who may not know me on the webinar, my name is Paul Flynn, a lecturer and researcher at the School of Education, the National University of Ireland, Galway. one of the perhaps what we expect from the mentees is that you need to be an ECI researcher, and you need to be within that 8-year window. It's important. You can be finishing a PhD, you know, the submission can be in the 18 months if you're planning out into the future. So quite a little bit flexible on that as well. You do need to be affiliated with a research institution that is based in a COST member country or in an NNC. And the final kind of criteria is that you need to present a recommendation letter from a senior researcher from your institution as well, just to link everything up.
So we are looking for mentors, but also mentees. And for us, the steps don't matter. What do I mean with that? It doesn't matter if we have first the mentors and look for the mentees together, or if we have already mentees who really want to do this program and they bring on mentors from their university or from the affiliated countries, universities, and so on. So it's a process on both ways possible. So we have today, I think, interested people as mentors, but also as mentees. So don't be shy, just get connected with us, and we try to find a solution, bring you together with other researchers and so on. So this is what is how we see our task, to bring relevant interested people to relevant topics and relevant stakeholders, and support you to create a really good proposal by the end of this action. So the topics should cover the topics like needs profiling, rural use, and how is this affected by the mobility patterns and possibilities, because we are talking very often of people who are minors as well, and also people who don't have the financial or other possibilities to go around. Formal education and also non-formal education, employment services, well-being and mental health is a topic. Rural development obviously is the framework for the rural need, and youth participation in rural areas. All fields related to those topics can be a research topic which is interesting for the COST action. So it's a little bit wide and multi-layered. That's also the reason why we want mentors coming from different backgrounds. This interdisciplinarity is very important, because we believe that the issues are multi-layered, and having a research on multi-layered topics is probably going to provide us with better solution and outcomes.
And I would just come in just to clarify that a team of mentors does not have to cover all of these topics. So the idea is that they may focus on one specific topic of this list and organize a mentoring program on, for instance, mental health or rural development and agriculture and youth development. These are potential topics. And I would just like to stress what Bahadur said in the beginning. We would like to see teams of mentors with different expertise and background, because as you know, and we will discuss that later, for funding more and more these complex issues require multidisciplinary teams and approaches. Those have higher probabilities of being funded. So as Paul and Bahadur already mentioned, we are here to help you to connect with mentors if needed. But if you have a team already prepared and you can focus on one of these topics, please go ahead. Paul, I think you can come in now on the mentor selection.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about the mentor selection and the timeline associated with that. So, of course, the mentor program initially will have a call. We have the call and dissemination, which is mid-July 2021, and we're moving through screening proposals, July, August 2021, and then assessment of those proposals in September later that year. And then what we hope to have then is results and communication activity in September 2021 to communicate to the wider network and for those who are interested. Again, when we think about the proposals, just to stress the multidisciplinary nature of the teams is so important, and to be open to collaboration with those maybe perhaps who are not immediately in your field of vision. And the second aspect is that, as Bahanur has said, to reinforce the message, is that, you know, perhaps if you feel you need an additional team member, there may be others who may not be part of teams who are interested in becoming part of this program, and maybe we can connect you in some way. And so again, maybe have a look at the team and see what your needs are.
Also, I would like to add that we have this timeline and assessment because for funding reasons, we are only accepting 2 mentoring programs in parallel in 2022, which means that from all the proposals that we might receive to organize a mentoring program, unfortunately, we will only be able to fund the whole activity timeline, as you will see further in the case of 2 proposals. It might be that we might have a situation where we can support other proposals, but only on online environment. But that's something that we still have to discuss internally with the committee that manages the project. But please this should be clear. We cannot accept all the proposals. We will be funding 2 proposals for 2 mentoring programs in 2 different topics. So we're looking for excellence, and these proposals will be assessed when they come in. Mahanu, now for the mentees selection.
After we have the mentors, we will have a call for mentees. But as said, if you know you are a young researcher and you want to do this program, you can also be active now and motivate your mentors, mentors or people from your university to apply already now for the mentors program. And July, September will be the call. So when we know more or less what the preferences of the mentors are, we want to start with the mentees, with the call for the mentees, and then screening the proposals. Again, assessment will be in fall, and in November we want to announce the results and get to start working. I pass on to Paul.
Thank you. So how should the program be organized and what kind of activities are expected? And so with this, and we have a timeline on the screen. This is a high-level timeline over 12 months. As you know, the duration of the program will be 12 months. We will have in month 1 a kickoff training school where we provide hopefully face-to-face. So we're very hopeful that this will be face-to-face, and fingers crossed, Vanna, you're correct. Where we'll have workshops on project design and funding. And we're very at pains to say that they'll be available at the national and international options. So some of you may be interested in applying for funding at a national level, and that might be the immediate intent. And some may be interested in developing a proposal that might go to a European funding mechanism like Erasmus or so and so on. And so we're completely open to this, but it's also important perhaps to set your stall out or to make that decision early in the journey. And that's something that we want to support you in. So there'll be workshops on project design and funding. In addition to that, we're going to talk about conferences and workshops and roundtable discussions that would support you as part of that. During month 2, 3, 4, and 5, we would expect that there would be engagement with group activities, and this would include stakeholder involvement as well, specific to the projects that you're working on, the proposals that you're working on. This might include the involvement of professionals that are specific to your area, NGOs, public service providers to ensure the applied nature of the proposals. And this is really important, particularly at the international level, where we're looking for that quadruple helix effect on projects. Following on from that, then in months 7 to 11, we would expect that it'll be individual meetings. The number of these meetings should be defined by the mentors team. So there'll be a dialogue between the mentees and the mentors, and whatever is specific to the project, with one of the mentors of the team for developing a final research project proposal. So again, and very much a work in progress. We would expect there would be multiple meetings, but again, this will need to be defined by the team in place. Again, then we would have a final event, which would be a face-to-face meeting. We would definitely expect it to be a face-to-face meeting 12 months in, where we would expect a presentation of the proposals, a discussion by a jury that might judge on whether the proposals are who might come out first or second, or to give feedback on the proposals. There would be other activities at this that would be targeted workshops and conferences, et cetera, where this might go next. And then a reassessment of funding opportunities specific to the proposals at that stage. And that's important because the funding proposal may have evolved to such a point where it needs to adapt or be more agile to, or be maneuvered towards a different funding mechanism, and feedback will be given then. We do expect then that some of the submissions and proposals may make a submission in 2023. This is not guaranteed for every proposal, and such is the nature of the work.
Well, may I come in?
Yes.
Sorry. Just to add two useful informations here. First, month 1 for us is January next year. So this is a program that is expected to be on the ground for the whole year next year, from January to December. So that's important to keep up with that in your agendas. And secondly, the issue of the submissions. As a cost action, we are committed with cost with a target. We expect that at least 70% of the mentees that are involved in the program, and we expect to have 12 in each program, so a total of 24 maximum, are able to submit proposals at the national or international level. So I would like to clarify this because we are committed with cost, with our funding source, to reach a certain result. So this is not only, I would say, a regular kind of training school for teaching things like how do you find funding, and et cetera, et cetera. No, we are committed to develop outcomes, and these outcomes are proposals, research proposals for the near future. Bahanu, please do
just if we could just perhaps before Bahanu comes in, just to reiterate what Francisco has said, and this goes back to the initial step in the kickoff training school, the importance of being clear about the destination for the funding proposal. The clearer this is at the start, the more likely the submission is to be made in 2023, which would then follow through on the commitments of the action, as well as what Francisco has said. Apologies, Bahanu, please continue.
No problem. And it's up to us, to the mentoring team and the organization, to provide this support to mentors in terms of these initial workshops. Bahanu, now it's up to you.
Just to add on, it might be that we start the project with a national goal, but it might be by the end of the mentoring program that we see some opportunities on the international calls. We have to also keep in mind that the international calls have a direction with, I don't know, Horizon, Erasmus, but the calls are published very shortly before deadline. So we know that all. We know that in these 12 months, we have to be also flexible, and also after the mentoring program, we have to be a little bit flexible so we can submit those things. That's the reason why we are here for you, why we created this framework that we can react to flexibly to these challenges. But as said, it's very important that you have in mind, it's not just only a wish list, I want to study or research this, but also really the wish to go ahead and do submit this proposal. We have also a question from Annabella Santos. Francisco explained in the beginning that the goal is to empower young researchers. That means early career investigator in the 8 first 8 years after PhD, or people within their PhD studies. This is one criteria. Then the second criteria is ITC countries. So if we have to prioritize, but quality comes also first. It's not like that this is the only criteria where you are coming from. And the third criteria is, of course, that we can match the interests and of the mentees and the mentors. And those are the criteria for the evaluation of the mentee program, which will start only in summer. It's not it didn't start yet. Did I forget something, Francisco?
Well, no, but in any case, as you can imagine, we have a whole guide for the mentoring program with very detailed information, which we're going to share the link with you. And from now on, as you can see here, we have a series of contacts, which you can also find in our cost action website. Our web page in costs has all this information, and we also have our own website. So from now on, my suggestion is, of course, that you read very carefully the guide, because all the information is there. And if some doubts are still remaining, of course, do contact us to help you through this. But we have time for questions and answers. So it's also a good opportunity to start discussing some issues that you might have to clarify. As I said in the beginning, for those that were not attending at the beginning of the session, we would prefer to have questions through the forum, so that the communication doesn't get a bit chaotic. So if you have any questions that you would like to add beside the one coming from Annabella, please do share with us. Just one clarification regarding what Bahanur said in terms of exclusion criteria for mentees and for mentors, actually. Priority is not exclusion. So we do have a policy on the ground to give some priority in terms of assessment to people coming from these countries with low scientific intensity. But people coming from other cost member countries or other NNC countries are more than welcome. Everyone is going to have an opportunity to be assessed regarding their suggestions to develop a mentoring program or to be a mentee. So just to make sure that this is clear. And you'll see the guide, all the criteria and the points that we are giving to each of the criteria, including this one. So any questions that you might want to add? It seems that we were clear. No, not clear enough. Isa Rodrigues, hi Isa. I will read the question so that everyone is aligned with this. To start in here in Spain. The question is specific in terms of a specific topic, which is training in job skills, making new materials out of cellulosic fiber from wild bushes. So this is highly specific. What I would say is that, and this is a good question in terms of frameworking all of this. This is a highly specific topic. So probably in a wider perspective, this could be a specific topic in a wider topic related, for instance, to rural development and youth employment or unemployment. What I could say is that you can start building from there, but topics should be a bit wider in the sense that you can look at the topic and you can see within it specific expertise from different areas, and also probably specific topics that would become, for instance, work packages in a project. Okay, so you can start building on that, but please keep open for the wider picture in terms of what is the umbrella topic for that specific one that you're mentioning.
So Isa, for instance, if you would take this idea, let's say for an Erasmus project, you would have at least 3 to 6 countries. So you have to find equals who can research the same or who explore the same the same kind of best case and develop a kind of a learning policy or whatever within the given time. So that would mean, for instance, you could go the avenue of innovation in rural areas, capacity building with youth, new jobs, ecological design, and all those things. But you have to understand, okay, in your area, it works with the wild bushes. How could it work, I don't know, in Norway, where you don't have the wild bushes like in your case? So if you can think out of the box, how could it be relevant for Europe, then you probably would come up with the right research question and also the right framework to develop your research proposal.
Yeah. We have some more questions here. And I will connect two questions that Janabi, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it well, Janabi and Corina. Janabi is asking what's the role of the mentor and the mentee, and Corina is specifically asking if the research design of the project is the attribute of the mentor, or if the mentoring program is giving directions. So in general, the role of the mentors, of course, or the mentors, and let's talk about collective of mentors. This group of mentors, which we are aiming to be at least 4, and that's something that we missed, at least 4 mentors, the team of 4 mentors, they should offer the guidelines for offering some training and offering support based on the training to develop project proposals. That's the role of the mentor in general. The role of the mentees is to develop a project proposal to be submitted. That's the role. They have this role. So I would say that more than saying that the mentor does something and the mentee does something else, the mentors will kick off the process, but then they will work together with the mentees in parallel, in collaboration, to develop a research proposal. But by the end of the process, I would say that the mentees are driving the process towards the proposal. Regarding the research design, we are not giving any strict guidelines in terms of if the project design should be more qualitative, quantitative, mixed. I would say that the design will emerge from the initial training, the contact with the stakeholders, and the ideas of the mentees. So it's a dynamic and fluid process, and we're only giving support to 2 proposals that we think that are really good, excellent, fit our goals, and are a good opportunity to keep developing knowledge and research on the topics that we mentioned ahead. Paul, you would like to come in?
Yeah, just very briefly to add to what you said. I think to come back to the idea of knowing which funding mechanism you're going to apply for. And this is really important when we talk about research versus funding projects that can have impact. Not every funding mechanism will fund a designed research project, something that's going to collect data and have academic output. Some are more focused on the development of toolkits that can change or have an impact on the environment that it's intended. And so pure research isn't always funded, for example, by Erasmus. Yes. It may be more focused that it's at Horizon, or for example, on the idea around the fibers from the bush. That may be something that might be more focused at a national level, because there may be a national funding body that's focused on enhancing the knowledge base in that area. So again, there's a combination of knowing what type of funding mechanism that you want to go for, whether you want to go research or you want to go for impact. So there's a lot of different things that play into it. So it's about being open-minded and flexible, as Banner has talked about where your project can go and what role it can play in the bigger picture.
Hanu, please.
In terms of the methodology for the project design or the research design, we as Course Action, as Francisco said in the beginning, we have already some research done in the first 2 years of the program. There are outcomes, there are already some issues captured in those publications, but we are also producing a lot of webinars over the summer with Emre's help. He's not here, I think. So they will be streamed and also recorded. It's all about how to do research, how to do questionnaires, all those elements of the research. So you will be provided with all those, let's say, ingredients for a research. So we will do our best to give you the tools to do this research design. And we have also a lot of interested but also experienced people to give feedback when necessary. But as said, the important thing is that you understand or already have a goal which is achievable for you in your constellation with your background. That might be national or international program. And then that we have this goal and work to this goal. If something else happens on the way because your research matches very well with others and we can combine this and go and do have implementations, or we stay only research and so on. This is something which can evolve also in the 12 months. So you can have also multiple outcomes of your mentoring program, but it's very important that you start with a goal that is achievable for you. And no matter if something else happens on the way or not.
Yeah, I would add, and thank you, Bahana and Paul, for those clarifications. I would add that this is not, again, a strict process. This is not a typical training school. We will have some training at the beginning on general issues regarding funding schemes, writing projects, and that's up to us in cost to provide that support. But then a group of mentors has a topic, has a proposal, has a target, and is trying to connect with mentees to develop project proposals. And then the process from then on is flexible, has an applied perspective involving stakeholders to see what's going on in the field, what are people needing in these areas based on that topic. So it's a more organic process. It's flexible. I would say that the only thing that we are, well, not flexible, is that we have to reach some outcomes. And those outcomes are project submissions. But along the way, we're here to give you all the support. There's another question here on the budget. What is the maximum budget for the proposal? It's Edmund that's adding this question. So Edmund, we don't have still our new budget for the next grant period approved. What I can say is that there are some lines of the budget that we are certainly going to fund, and I can give you examples. We are, of course, funding two face-to-face meetings at the beginning where everyone comes together for a period of time, probably 1 week, and funding for traveling, accommodation, meals, etc. It will be provided for everyone that is involved in each of the programs. And one thing that I would like to mention is that both programs are going to possibly meet in the same place, in the same venue, because of funding constraints, of course. But also we can take the most of it if we gather everyone together, even if they are working on different topics. We will also give some support in terms of providing funding for online activities. Cost is now finally bringing in some funding for digital platforms. We still don't know how this is going to evolve next year, but that's something else that we are going to fund. And we, of course, want to fund, or are able to fund, if that's the case, we can, for instance, fund some preparatory papers that are coming out from your work, because we have calls to support open access and collaboration around publications. For instance, if you have some very good piece of theoretical reflection based on your mentoring program, that's something that we can look at and fund. Unfortunately, we still cannot say how much money are we allocating to this specific activity, but we will try to focus on each of these lines. Bahanu, I think you wanted to come in. I'm not sure.
I just asked if you want to take off the share screen.
Yeah,
so
of course. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, the funding scheme within COST is just limited. We can change that. So there are not many opportunities. There are some facilitation budgets. In some countries, there are funds to grant writing. So I don't know if you have any access in your country. So I hope you do. But in terms of the action, rural needs, we would like to support you as much as we can. That means if there is a possibility to publish, as Francisco said, we would be happy to do that. If there are possibilities to connect, have webinars, conferences about those topics and so on, we have kind of a flexibility as said in the process to give you the most out of this experience and give you also the options to connect, exchange, and so on. So whatever we can do, we will do. It will be probably limited in the monetary level, but in terms of visibility, exchanging, and so on, I think this cost action has good potentials.
Yeah, so just to stress that some combination with other fundings is possible. Cost is not inflexible on that particular issue, but of course we have to assess. There's something. Thank you, Edmond. I would like to say how much money we have, but we cannot be that precise right now. I can say what are we able to fund, and that might help you to deliver a specific proposal. There's another question from Ilkay. Hi, Ilkay. On how can a mentee motivate a potential good mentor to be involved, and if cost or the cost action is involved? Well, in that process, Ilkay, we have to be independent. We are going to assess the different proposals. So we are not going to be involved in the process of in between communications between mentors and mentees. We cannot do that, of course, for transparency issues. What I can say is that you can, of course, use all the information we have on the website. You can share all the outcomes and the outputs that we are delivering right now, but we cannot be involved in motivating mentors to come in, because this is a competitive proposal and call. So that's something that, but of course, if they want to have more information about the activity, they can contact me as a share. And even the mentoring managing team, of course. But later on, we will have to assess. So information is one thing, motivating is another thing.
One more thing, Ilkay, as Francisco said, we want proposals to be submitted. So that should be hopefully a good driver for the mentors. We are not just doing this program to do exercises. We want to submit. So submitted proposals normally mean also something to the mentors. So I think this is the ultimate reason to be in this mentoring program or not. So we want to submit. We want to have 24 proposals and hopefully submit them all or most of them. So this is the direction we go. And if we have people here or in your connection who want to do that, happy to welcome you and assess your application.
Okay, I hope we were clear enough on this. Any other questions coming in? I don't know if you want to add any other question to the forum. If not, Bahanur, Paul, anything that you would like to stress before we wrap up?
Yeah, I mean, I'm really happy to have the chance to support you in this mentoring program. Yeah, as a person, I'm always trying to support, give inputs positively, and I'm really happy that this action is looking for something interdisciplinary, because I believe that most solutions or ways to solutions are in the connection of different disciplines. So I'm very happy also to have the COS action, the chair, supporting us so good, and very happy to work with Paul, and would be very happy to see your proposals.
Paul, please.
Just to add to what Bahanur said, it's fantastic to be part of the program and supporting you all on this journey. If I could again reiterate what others have said here, is that the interdisciplinary nature of the team that is so vital, and the strongest submissions at Erasmus in H 2020, and I would suggest at Horizon Europe coming down the line, will be interdisciplinary teams. In order to solve the complex and wicked problems that society faces, we need people with different perspectives, attitudes, and who are able to argue across problems in order to reach a common goal. So again, I would encourage that interdisciplinary mindset. I think it would be a huge advantage to any proposal, and also then to obviously think about what you want to get out of this as well. I know that we have to deliver proposals and they need to be submitted, but it should align with your own interests too. So don't lose sight of that. That's the other piece of advice I would give. But I'm looking forward to the process. It's going to be an exciting 12 months.
Thank you, Paul. So up to me just to underline some main ideas. If you are interested in being a mentor, please think about this in a collective way. Please bring in teams. We're looking at least for teams of 4 mentors. If you're feeling a bit alone on this process, do contact us, because we are ready to support you to find mentors that connect with your topic, and we can organize some speed dating online. This is an idea from Paul, so we can easily organize that and support you to find people and have a team of mentors working together on the same topic. To the mentees, please be the ones that want to be mentees in this program. Please keep checking our website. From July, you will know which are the topics that are going to be supported in this mentoring program, in the 2 editions of the program that we are going to have in parallel. And for any information that you might need, I will just share again our contacts, okay, because someone is asking for that right now. So please check our contacts, and our contacts are also in our COST website and our COST webpage, webpage in COST, our website. I'm already getting a bit confused. And these are all the links that you have for accessing the program. The links were shared by our science communication officer, Mariano. So in any case, you feel free to contact us. And thank you for participating.
Thank you all. See you next time.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Take
Bye,
care.
Ella.